All right.
Hey, and welcome back, everybody. This is Captain Sergio, Captain George, and we got Eric here, our special guest for the day. And welcome, Eric. And you're looking and you're listening to Florida West Coast Fishing Report. And yep, all I can tell you guys around my house is the same old thing: windy, rain, and cold.
Definitely cold.
And I don't know what to tell you. It's sooner or later, it's got to get better. But today we do have our special guest. And the reason we wanted to bring him on is not only he's a new sponsor, but he's got something that definitely you got to have in every single. If you're on the water, you got to have good sunglasses. There's no question about that. There's a lot of things you can do without. Life preservers you got to have. You got to have your first aid kit, your flares, and you better have a good pair of glasses. Not only so you can see in the water, but to protect your eyes. And believe me, you know, people say, well, I got a big hat on. I got a big brim. I keep the sun off my face. And we all know those nice days you get out there and it's almost slick calm, fairly calm. That water is like a mirror reflecting all those rays right into your face. So, Eric, talk to us a little bit about your glasses, how long you've been around, and what kind of makes you maybe different from the rest of the group. I've got an idea, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Well, thank you for that, Captain Sergio. Skeleton Optics has been around since 2016. What makes us different is we have largely been focused on fishing and hunting. And our lenses are by Zeiss, so the best in the business. And we were formerly polycarbonate strictly, and we have just moved to a new type of plastic lens called polyamide, which is a vinyl, and it holds coatings, holds mirrors, and performs much better. It's much more flexible, and it holds, when I say it holds coatings, the thing that is most important in a fishing sunglass is oleophobic qualities and hydrophobic qualities. Oleophobic is how well does it repel oil? So for you fishermen, you know when you're on the back of the boat and you're running and gunning and cutting fish and blood and guts all over the place and you wipe your sunglasses, you don't want that oily blood and stuff sticking on your glasses. With our Ripel technology from Zeiss, you literally could take those glasses off. You don't have to wipe them. You could swipe them in the water. Those fish and blood guts come right off because of the oleophobic properties of the Ripel coating on the lens. Hydrophobic, so you know as a fisherman, you're running and gunning, getting from one spot to the next, and the spray splashing in your water, if that salt water stays on your lenses, it clouds up very quickly as it dries in the sun. Our lenses, again, with the Ripel and Tripel technology, the hydrophobic or water repellent qualities, that water will literally blow right off it, even better than a glass lens. So those are things that are significant.
Well, what about the scratch resistance? That's always the big key on the glasses for us fishermen.
Yes. So that's primarily why we just moved from polycarbonate to the polyamide. Polyamide is a nylon lens, again, much more flexible and much more scratch resistant than polycarbonate, which people know as a very hard lens. The polyamide, because it is so flexible, it's less likely to scratch at all, and it is highly scratch resistant.
Okay, now, and George, if you got any questions, but one of the questions I have too is, in the traditional glass lenses, I guess they put the reflective coating in between the glass. On yours is put on the lens itself.
Correct.
What keeps it on there? Because some of these brands that, you know, they send me samples all the time. I've tried some of them, and I swear, I'm not kidding you. In a couple of months, they're all scratched up, or some of the reflective, covering is starting to come off.
So I think what you're talking about, Captain Sergio, is actually so you're not talking about the mirror on the front of the lens, but you're talking about the anti-reflective coating, which is on the back of the lens.
No, I'm talking about the mirror side.
Okay, so the mirror. Yeah, so that's the thing about the polyamide and why we switched to it. Polycarbonate holds a mirror or other coatings very well, but the polyamide, it actually bonds and embeds with the plastic. So that mirror is not going to peel or scratch once it's on there. And so we've been testing this for about a year now. Zeiss recommended it, and we switched from polycarbonate to polyamide, and we're getting a lot of fabulous feedback. And to the point, though, about the anti-reflective, goes on the inside of the lens. And we are currently experimenting. We have several prototypes out. Zeiss has 3 different types of anti-reflective coating. One is called Azure Back, and it's got a blue tint to it. The other is called Greenback, so that has a green tint to it. And one is called Black Hole. Zeiss says that the Azure Back is the very best anti-reflective, but we're actually doing a review in different types of conditions, different types of sun, which is going to be best so that we can potentially offer all 3.
Now, out of your lenses, like for us, especially for us being inshore, and sometimes, in the morning you get a little bit of the low light condition, but you want a lens that can do it all pretty much. I mean, granted, during the day is going to be the most time in the sunlight, but in the shallows, I know certain tints work a little better for being able to see their redfish on the flats. Like, what do you feel with that?
So I love that question, Captain George, and I'll suggest 2 things. So funny story, and I don't want to take up too much time, so cut me off, Sergio. I had an influencer. I had a fishing influencer who said to me, and when I have an influencer, I typically will offer them a pair of glasses for them to try and use and push to their followers. He asked me for bronze lenses, and I had bronze at the time. The former owner had bronze lenses. It was a bronze mirror called Bronze Titanic. So I sent him a pair of those glasses, and he says, I asked for bronze, you sent me gray. These are gray with a bronze mirror. I said, what? I said, to me, that's bronze. So I called Zeiss, and I said, hey, Zeiss, what's up with this? I'm selling Bronze Titanic lenses, and it's actually a gray lens. And the Zeiss rep laughed at me. He said, it's not a bronze lens. It's a gray lens with a bronze mirror. And
Right.
Yes, there is a difference. So we have since switched to a copper lens. So I said, what's the best? They sent me the R&D reports, and we have switched to a copper lens. So to your point on the flats with redfish, a bronze lens, true bronze lens, some people would say brown lens. I say bronze. But copper is a notch above that. So now we offer a copper lens. Additionally, Captain George, you mentioned low light. We have also just started releasing in most of our frames an amber lens, and we're getting fabulous feedback on the amber lens for low light, both hunting in moving in and out of shade, as well as the dawn fishing and the dusk fishing. That amber just really sets off the colors in the water, makes it much more visible, and still protects your eyes from the sun when those rays shine through.
Now, on some of my glasses, I used to like the green mirror on the top of a copper lens, but I did notice when I went to just a straight copper lens, it lets a little more light in, and I'm actually seeing fish a lot better than having the mirror on the front.
I believe that's correct with the green mirror. Now we can put a plain, it's almost more of a polish than it is a mirror, but it still has that effect to cut the sun's glare a little bit more. But it is just a layer on top of the copper lens.
Yeah. Copper's always worked best for me on the inshore. Then what do you feel about offshore colors then?
So offshore colors, I think clearly, I don't know anybody who would argue with this, except I'll share another funny story. The blue mirror is what, and Costa's famous for their blue mirror, and Costa's got a good pair of glasses. The blue mirror is what, because it reflects the sun's rays off of the blue water
Right.
much more better than anything else. It actually, try any other color versus a blue mirror, any other color mirror or lens versus a blue mirror, and you'll notice that you can literally see 4 to 6 feet further into the water with a blue mirror lens. So in my mind, blue mirror is the absolute best for offshore. Now, I will caveat that with a gentleman named Tony Carrizosa, Captain Tony Carrizosa, who's a Marlin champion 2 years running. He swears by copper lens on the ocean. That's what
Huh.
he wants. That's the only thing he'll wear. And he says, I find it allows me to see everything better.
Wow.
That's
I'm a
pretty
copper
interesting.
fan. Definitely.
So now, do you see a trend of, because over the years, everybody always wanted glass, and then all the polycarbonates and all that started coming in. You're in that industry. What do you see it happening, not just with you, but with your competitors out there?
So I see my competitors. I do not offer glass at all because that's a whole nother ball game. And there are very specific glass lens manufacturers. So I think there are only 3 that actually manufacture glass lenses. And all my competitors still offer a glass option. It typically, unless it's in stock because it wasn't a popular frame, it will take you longer to get the glass lenses. Glass lenses, it's now becoming accepted that both polycarbonate and polyamide are both acceptable substitutes. And I think the thing with glass lenses, I can't say they're better or they're worse. They do have more scratch resistant qualities. I don't think they offer any better clarity. And I'm going to share something with you when you're ready. That is an innovation that Zeiss has brought to the market that's literally going to upset the market with what it offers. So when you're ready to talk about that, I'll tell you why this particular lens over glass or anything else.
That sounds pretty good. Now, one of the things that my complaint has been, and I think George and a lot of my clients, and I'm on the water all the time. I'm talking I go to all these trade shows. The quality of the frames have gone downhill.
Well, I will say that you will not see the quality of our frames go downhill. We are not going to go for lower cost in China. We are not going to go for lower cost in Mauritius. And while as much as I would love to have an onshore U.S. facility so that I could sell more to the military with my veteran-owned status, I don't know a place in the U.S. that I can bring my glasses and have them manufactured to the quality standards that I'm getting out of Italy. My Italian manufacturer, La Giardiniera, or Lagi for short, is one of the top 3 Italian manufacturers. They've been manufacturing our glasses since 2016. The quality is impeccable. The hinges are hidden in a way that you don't see on anybody else's glasses. We were the first to introduce the Megal rubber nose pads embedded in the frame. And just so we have maintained that quality, that sturdiness, that snug fit. A lot of glasses, you'll see the arms get loose after a while. Ours do not get looser, and they stay on your head. You don't have to continue to bend them to stick to your head because they basically shape to your head. You'll find that with all 7 of our core line. They'll stick to your head. So anybody who would tell you skeleton quality of frames has changed, I'd love to speak with them and understand what they think could be different, because I have never seen that and I haven't heard anybody say that. But I do know what you're talking about across the board as various manufacturers, and I don't want to talk about any brands because they all offer something great. But a lot of them have gone to China, Mauritius for manufacturing, Taiwan, and you just, not to put down any of those countries or manufacturing, but it just is a lower standard of what comes out and the monitoring of it.
Well, before my previous life, before I retired, I was overseeing 32 home centers and everything. And I used to travel and do a lot of buying sometimes. And I remember just before I left, I spent 3 weeks in China. And I can tell you, you can go in there and buy anything you want at any price. You got to be specific on what kind of quality you want, the dimensions, how you want it, everything else. If not, and I think what happens is there's a lot of knockoffs that they're using their name of fame on what I call knockout quality glasses.
So,
Now,
Sergio, are you suggesting that you could be my China broker and set up the right deals for me so I could get high quality out of China?
I tell you, I used to do a lot of buying. It wasn't much. I mean, I was responsible for, I think was like, I don't know, 30 million a year.
You got 3 minutes for me to tell you a funny story and why what we're going to disrupt the market with is better than
Yeah,
glass.
please do. That's why I have you on here.
So when I bought Skeleton Optics from the former owner almost 2 years ago now, he wanted to introduce me to new technology that they had. You know, Zeiss is a technology company. They're all about R&D and bringing new technology to market. They're not a product company. So they had done a 3-year research and development study, spent $13 million with a company called Randolph Engineering. And I'm sure some listeners are going to know Randolph. Their stock in trade is all glass lenses. That's all they've ever been, and that's all they intend to be. So their objective in this study, Sergio and George, was to come up with a lens that was polarized, still gave UVA, UVB, UVC protection, still cut the glare of the sun, but enabled the wearer, particularly boat captains and aircraft pilots, to be able to wear polarized lenses, cut the glare from the sun up in the sky above the clouds or out on the water with the sun reflecting in your eyes, and still be able to read all of their gauges and instruments. You guys know as boat captains, you know, you could be wearing your sunglasses, and if you've got a fish finder or you've got some particular gauge, you've got to toggle your glasses up and down just to be able to read the screens. So their objective was to make it so you could leave your glasses where they are, enjoy all the benefits of polarization, and be able to read all your screens. I said, okay, that's interesting. So he says, we developed it, we got it, and Randolph Engineering took it back to their board and said, we fixed it, we got the answer. The board said, can this be put in glass? And they said, absolutely not. The way that we arrived at this technology solution is the layering of the polyamide lens that actually results in about a 63% polarization, which gives the full protection of polarization, gives a full glare resistance and glare reduction of polarization, but does not bend the light waves from an LED or LCD screen. So he says that to me. So he gave it back to Zeiss. Zeiss, you take it. So my Zeiss rep says, do you think you can do something with this? I said, absolutely. So I said, but prove it to me. So he sent me 30 pair of lenses. I cut them into my frames. I passed them out to commercial pilots, to military pilots, to boat captains, to yacht captains, and they all came back with exactly the same thing. It does exactly what you say it can do. One of them says to me, and you know what? They're my go-to glasses because they're the only glasses that I can wear when I'm driving my Tesla and see my navigation screens. Another guy came back and says, oh, and by the way, they're the only glasses that I can wear in my high-end Acura SUV and see my heads-up display. I can't see my heads-up display with polarized glasses.
I got a Dodge Ram truck, limited, loaded, and I got heads up. But if I put my polarized lenses on, it's gone. It disappears.
I'll send you a pair, and you'll be right back in business, Sergio.
It's crazy.
They come in copper.
They do. They do. In fact, Captain George, you go to my website and you let me know what frames you want. Right now, I only have them in an 8-base lens, which is more of a wrap. So I don't have them in my decoys or my Tomahawk Aviation. I think you probably fishing.
We all use wraparound to keep the glare out the side.
That's what I use.
So I do have some in copper that are available now, limited quantities.
So when are you going to get them in?
So right now I have probably 6 dozen. Plus I have about 10 dozen additional sets of lenses, and I'm going to start cutting those into my frames in the 8-base. The 6-base I'll have in within 60 days.
All right. Now let's get to another little thing.
Before you
George.
start, one more question. Now, with the lens that you're saying that you can read your readouts with and everything, you said it's, 63% polarization. And like, everybody always brags about 100% polarization. So on the water, does that make a difference for the glare?
No, no. So, Captain George, the answer to that is any polarization is 100% polarization. So whether you buy a cheap polarized China lens, that's 100%
Right.
polarization. You got Costa, that's 100% polarization. The only lens that I'm aware of that's slightly, it's not less polarization, but it creates more of a colored option is ChromaPop, which I think is,
Yeah.
yeah. But what makes a difference is I can get them fully 63% polarization, so all the protection from UVA, UVB, UVC, and there is a lens that folks want for golf that has a lighter colorization. But the lenses you want, the copper and the blue, which are the two that we settled on based on aviators and boat captains checking them out, you won't notice a difference between those and standard sunglasses.
Now, one of the other things too, Eric, is what is your warranty on your glasses?
I have a full warranty, lifetime warranty. So, and I'm happy to say that, and I'm proud to back that. I have had very few actual returns from breakage, and I'm happy to work with anybody who wants to replace something or just wants to give it back to me. So I have 100% lifetime warranty on my glasses for the time being.
Nice.
Because one of the biggest things that I found, and with competitors out there, is one of them now, the way they do their side pieces, the rubber starts to come off. I had one that was less than 6 months old.
Mm.
It was coming off. That's not covered under warranty anymore.
Mm.
I mean, well, what they tell you is you send it in with $35 and we'll replace it. That's their warranty. But it's made that every 6 months, it looks like one or both sides start to fall off.
Residual income.
Yeah, it is residual income because you could replace the whole frame for that cost.
Oh, I know. So, I mean, it's crazy. And this is one of the gimmicks I think that some of these companies are doing out there. So what you're recommending now, so what you're telling me is you're not going to have on your site anymore bronze lenses. It's going to be all copper.
No, so we will have bronze mirror. I just have to, Sergio, I'm still a small company, and I have minimum order quantities. So I have to build up supply as I go. So I still have some bronze Titanic lenses, but I'm going to switch primarily to copper for now. And I'll tell you, anybody who wants a bronze lens from me and gets the copper instead, everybody raves about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Copper is really sweet. There's no doubt about it. And the thing me and Sergio really have to let everybody know is, if you didn't hear it, it's veteran owned.
That's
So
right.
let's talk for our veterans. And it's a good product. It's not like you're buying something bad. It's a good product.
I appreciate that, Captain George. And I don't know if I mentioned, so the technology that I was talking about, the lighter polarization that allows you to read their gauges, watch for it. It's called Light Pro, Zeiss Light Pro.
And everybody knows that Zeiss, I mean, they're impeccable in their lenses. To me, I think they're anybody that's trying to make a name for themselves, camera equipment stuff, when you hear the word Zeiss, you're getting top-notch stuff. There's no question about it.
When the military is using it, there's a reason. That pretty much says it right there.
Now, for you to be able to sell the military, you got to put it. It's all got to be here. You got to make it all here.
Now, truth be told, I sell a lot of frames, a lot of glasses to the military clothing sales stores and to the a group that works on a military base called LCI. They essentially have supply shops. They buy a lot of my glasses to give to deploying soldiers. So my glasses end up on a lot of soldiers, and it's primarily my blackout edition of the decoy that you'll see on the soldiers guarding the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, because it's a blackout. So the logo's black, the lenses are gray, There's no color at all, which is required for that. So the military has started buying those from me, but they're not ones that they will buy and issue as equipment. That's
Okay.
the difference.
Well, I think you've kind of educated us quite a bit. And one of the guys over here, one of our viewers says, he loves the green reflective lens for kayakers. What would you recommend kayakers now with what you got?
Well, so it depends what the kayaker needs. And I'll tell you another short story because I believe in stories from people who are out there in the field. A lot of game wardens, Louisiana, Nevada, and water, guys who are on the water a lot. So I guess similar to a kayak, but they swear by the green lens as well. Now I'm trying to switch a lot of them to the copper lens, and they're taking a liking to it. And even as George pointed out, the amber lens, they are getting into the amber lens quite a bit. But I think the green mirror is good. That's, I typically recommend a green one for near shore fishing. So brackish water primarily or shallower salt water. But again, if you're kayaking, you don't need to be looking into the water as much as you need to be looking across the water. So while I would typically say the copper lens for looking into the water for fish, looking across the water, that green mirror is going to do you well, especially kayaking is typically, now I'm not talking about kayaking on the surf, but kayaking, river kayaking, you're going to find the green lens is pretty good, Sergio. So I like that.
I've been sticking to the blue and your bronze, but that blue I've really got hooked on it. I really like it.
I'm glad to hear that.
And especially for driving. But like you said, the only problem I got is I can't read my heads up. It just disappears.
Talk to me after the show, Sergio.
And then
that's fine.
We got to let everybody know too, we got a big promotion with you. So if you go to the site, pick out what you want, and you got an area that says promo code, I presume.
Yes.
And just put Sergio20, you're going to get 20% off.
Exactly.
So that's a heck of a good deal.
Yep.
And
I'm very happy to hear about the copper coming on board because that is a good color, man. That's a color I like.
And we are supporting a veteran-owned company, so that's to me that's very important.
Thank you.
I'm big into making America great again. I'm sorry, I am, and I don't mind saying it. I think it's time that we take care of our people, and especially local companies and American-owned companies. We need to support them strongly.
I love it.
And speaking of that, because I've been to his website, and you've got quite a few patriotic frames that you have that are pretty cool looking.
Is that all the time, or that just like you do an in and out on those frames? Eric? Is that something that you have all the time in inventory, or
so right now I did go and get a large quantity of stock of both so we have, instead of our logo, we call it the Patriot. We have the American flag instead of our logo on the decoy and the scout frames. But then I also have, there's an artist who does a lot of shotguns and expensive rifles, as well as other hunting type things. He Cerakotes them. So they're hand painted and Cerakoted. And I have a number of those since you brought it up. We call those the American flag or Patriot version. They're actually hand painted with the American flag. And I also have various kinds of fish, several different trout, bass, yellowfin, mahi-mahi, several of those. So they're very, very artistically done.
Now, why don't you give us your website so how they can go straight to it? Somebody already went on it. One of our viewers already went on to your website.
Check skeletonoptics.com.
That's simple.
All right, skeletonoptics.com.
Yeah, and go in there. Remember, if anything you find, just put Sergio20 in that little area, and you're going to get 20% off.
And I'll tell you what too, Sergio. So it'll prompt you to put a code in at checkout. So put in that Sergio20. if you're watching this show and you forgot to put it in within 48 hours, you let me know with an email to info@skeletonoptics.com and I'll refund you the difference.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. And Eric, I know
I was
you're
gonna
a
say,
real
that's-
busy man, but thank you. We really appreciate you coming on board.
I
that's
appreciate
the
you having me
difference.
on, gentlemen.
And for
That's the
all of you
difference
that are,
about-
all our viewers and anybody's planning on attending the Tampa Boat Show, the last day of February, the first 2 days of March at the Tampa Fairgrounds, George and I are going to be there. A lot of my sponsors are going to be there. We were all going to be wearing those skeleton glasses, and
Yeah.
we'd love to have you to come over and look at them and play around with them, see how good they're made. And thank you again, Eric. May God bless you,
Thank
man.
you, guys.
Take care.
Have a good
Take
one.
care.
They do fit really nice on your
Oh,
head.
no,
though.
no. Hey, I had my pair for 2 years before I got hooked up with Eric that I got at the Miami Boat Show over 2 years ago. And I love them. And that's why I started talking to him, because they have held up for 2 years with no problems at all. And I can
Right.
tell you, I got some of the other brands that I've been using. A lot of them were just given to me and I just put them away. I didn't like them. They exactly what he was saying. They get stretched out and they keep sliding off your face. So you have to,
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was heating and trying to bend them in a little, the whole frame, to keep them from sliding off. So I've had them for a little over 2 years, no problems at all. And let's see, who do we have today? We have Pam with a fishing report.
Pam, we got
you-
Tony.
We got Haynes.
Oh, look. I'm upside down.
Uh-oh. We got Michael Haynes and we got yours, right?
Yes.
And Tony Franklin.
Yeah.
So
Wanna run
let's do Tony Franklin in a minute.
Okay.
All right, got it.
Hi, this is Captain Tony Franklin back once again with this week's fishing report. Well, as you can tell, the outfit I'm wearing, trying to stay warm. It's been really cold on the water. We've had a decent bite with cold water fish that eat during the winter time. The trout bite has really been good, but you got to know what areas, the right areas, the tides and the depths and the water temperatures to fish for them. Right now, I'm catching a lot of these trout in the backcountry creeks, residential canals, using live shrimp, pieces of shrimp threaded on the hook. They'll also eat frozen shrimp. Sometimes the tackle shops don't have the live shrimp. When the water gets really cold, the shrimp boats aren't able to get out and get them. Having a real good bite with spotted sea trout. Silver trout have also been biting. We're getting some whiting in the mix. These whiting and small black drum are some of the same areas that the trout are found in. We're getting them into bigger canal systems, residential docks. Sheephead bite has been really good around residential docks, around any type of oyster, hard bottom structure. We're catching them in the same areas, and we're using them on a #1 circle hook with a little split shot just above them, taking the head off the shrimp and threading it through. Whichever technique you want to use, the shrimp is the way to go right now. There's also been a few bonnethead sharks around. There's also some jacks, also some ladyfish. So there's plenty of action out there, although the trout bite's been dominating lately. So we're looking for more cold weather this week, as the cold weather looks like it's here to stay for a while. So we're going to be in this winter pattern for a while. So get out on the water, catch you some fish, tight lines, and I'll see you next week.
And thank you, Tony.
Nice job.
Nice job, as always. Tony's always comes through for us, man. I can't
Yeah, I tell
complain.
you,
He does a super nice job.
This water temperature is dropping like a rock with these cold fronts back to back like this. I'm concerned about the snook a little bit.
Well, the snook better get into the power plants and deep in those rivers and the creeks to get warm, because
Yep.
we got some cold weather coming.
Oh yeah. And right now, the water temperature in the bay is bouncing between 58 to 61, but on the flats, on the windy days, I've had some captains tell me they've registered as low as 54 and a half.
Jeez. That's already getting scary for the snook.
Yeah. And then we got this front coming in, the one a little bit that came in today, but then the other one that's coming in another day or two, That's going to be a pretty good one.
Oh, we're going to have fun with that one because you and I are going to be at Chassahowiska for this
Yeah.
weekend fishing. But you know,
Yes,
the good
we
part
are.
is we don't have to worry because we're not the captains on this trip.
And yeah, we're not. I don't have to throw a net for this one.
No, we don't have to throw a net. We don't have to worry about anything. It gets
No.
done for us. We just got to have breakfast in the morning, get in the boats, and we're going to be out there. Saturday, we got an 8-hour trip. And then Sunday, we got a 4-hour trip.
Yeah, I don't
It'll
know.
be you, me, and a bunch of my clients. And we do this every year. You've never done it, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's a lot of good camaraderie. It's a nice little house on an island off the Chassahowiska River up there. And well, let me put it this way: it's all generators and batteries. It's solar
Right.
power. They ain't no wire. They ain't no nothing. You know, the generators run to about 10:30 at night, then they shut off, and then the rest of the night you're running on batteries. But it's just a lot of fun. Jessica
Yeah, it should
says
be a
maybe
good time.
she'll. Yeah, we'll be
And-
there. We're going
What's
to be
that?
there from Friday afternoon. They pick us up at 4:00, Jessica. They take us and they usually have a big steak dinner Friday night and just enjoy ourselves. And we get up early, 6, leave, have breakfast at 7, 8 o'clock. We leave the dock, come back around 4:30, 4 o'clock.
And if anybody doesn't know, Jessica got her captain's license. She's getting ready to start up her web page for her charter. So she's a good little fisher lady.
She's a
You
very
wanna go
good
out
fisher
with that
lady.
neighborhood, Give her a call.
Yeah, yeah. She's in fact, we'll probably wind up doing the show with her in the summer if we ever get any decent weather.
Yeah, she said the docks are still pretty messed up. Most of ours down here are there's a lot of them messed up.
Well, we
Uh,
still
big
got
taxi.
in one place here around Corvus, not Corvus Isles, but Venetian Isles. There's still a boat in the guy's backyard, a Grady White, beautiful Grady White.
Oh, there's quite a few of those right now. But yeah, I was taking my clients out last week, and they seen the boat in the yard that you're talking about, and they were like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "That's unfortunate." It's
But there was 3 more in that same little area. There
Yeah.
was 3 other ones that they did get those out, but that guy still had his there.
And then over by Bay Pines, the guy's boat actually pulled the pylons of the dock out of the ground, and the boat ended up in the living room of the guy's house.
You know,
So, it's just
well,
terrible
you know,
what
so
happened.
many seawalls are gone, swimming pools are gone.
We got Captain Anthony signing. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Anthony and Kevin
Things
Burke.
going all right for you.
Ken Burke was on the air with us a little while ago. Yeah, and if any of you that have been listening, remember, if you want a good pair of sunglasses, Skeleton glasses, you go to their website. When you check out, put in there Sergio 20, and they're going to give you 20% off. Anything they got, no matter if it's on sale, whatever they got, whatever the price says, you're going to get 20% off. So take advantage of it. George and I got them. We've been wearing them now. Can't complain.
Now, I seen Linda logged in, and Linda and Ken, we just want to say, we're sorry about your puppy. Unfortunately, they get old and have to leave us, but we're sorry to hear that happen to you.
It's tough, believe me. The last 6, well, I lost one 3 years ago, my Doberman. She was like my baby. And before that, I lost another Doberman. She was another female. And it's
Yeah.
just like losing a daughter.
Oh, they should live as long as people. That's the way it should be.
I mean, I got a lab now that she forgets that she's 85 pounds and she jumps on top of you while you're watching TV and she just cuddles on you. And I mean, it's true. I mean, they're the, sometimes your kids grow up and they leave and then you get these and they become your kids. But
And we got Jim Pace signed on. How you doing, Jim?
yeah, Jim and I talked today. We were going to go out with him one day this week, but it don't look like it.
We better run another report.
Yep, let's do that. So what do you want? You want to run Pam?
Yeah, let's do Pam's.
It's kind of windy out here, overcast, looks like it's about to rain. Look at this beautiful redfish. redfish. First redfish of the season. Happy New Year, everyone.
Well, that was short.
Yeah, it was funny at the beginning of her video. Described every day this week.
Oh, Jesus. You know, so
Yeah,
my babies.
Jessica
Yeah,
says
well,
that.
it's true. Hey, they
It
are.
is.
I mean,
They're your family, they are
they're
your family,
families. They are families.
and
But
you'll
go ahead,
never
George.
find a person as devoted as a dog. Dogs are so devoted, it's unbelievable.
All right, let's see. Eric just wanted me to send him the link to. Hota, can you send him the link to the show? I hope. If not, we'll get it done over here. Thank you, Hota. Well, one of the things, George, it's throwing everybody off balance. You know, I've been going by Gandy Bait and Tackle just to talk to them, have a chit chat, and I mean, it's tough to fish in the conditions that we've been having. You know, I don't mind the cold. I'll be honest with you. I can tolerate the cold. It's the high winds that are hitting us. You know,
Right.
I was over with Beavertail Friday at the boat show, and actually it was windy, but it was nice where we're at because we had the big tent behind us and everything else. But in the open areas, it was pretty chilly. And then I guess yesterday it was. I mean, Saturday wasn't too bad, but boy, I heard yesterday. I mean, they got rain on and off, and I mean, you know, the people that were there, they were the diehards. They really wanted to buy a boat, I guess.
Right. Or they were looking for that last day sale, the deal.
You know.
I can do captain's thing too if you ever need it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And George, you got your. I sent you the stuff for the boat show. You got that? I sent
Oh
it
yeah,
today.
schedule.
Yeah, like I said, I'm having a problem because some of the stuff I'm trying to send from the iMac,
Right.
from the Mac Mini, and I'm not
Right.
quite used to using so sometimes I'd rather just go in my office and use my Windows, but
Right.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to force myself to learn that one.
Right. Yeah. That schedule will work fine for me. That's
We're
fine.
going to have, just found out, I haven't sent it to the Times yet. All of us, then we're going to have Finn's. Gillian is going to be there from the sales rep for Finn's Braided Line, and the VP for Blackfin's Rods is going to be there, and they're both going to get together, and they're going to do a seminar on fishing and the right lines and the rods and what the different tapers and what makes one rod different from another. So I think that's
Right.
going to be a different seminar. It's going to be good. And then
Educational.
And then Friday, if you're a Yamaha owner, we're going to have Tampa Marine.
Tuning.
It's tuning is going to be there talking about, instead of you having to upgrade your boat motor, and if you want more horsepower, you know, they can do that. They're going to tell you all about how to upgrade a Yamaha anywhere between 25 to 75 horsepower without doing anything to the engine, nothing that's going to hurt it, going to void the warranty. If it's under warranty, nothing like that. So I'm going to have them on there on Friday.
And it's something that they can do. You don't have to take your motor off or anything like that. It's all computer controlled type of stuff.
Yep. If you're in the area, you can bring it by. If you're not in the area, right on their website, it takes you about 5 minutes to take the little module out. You FedEx it, UPS it to them, and you have it back the next day. It depends how fast you get it to them. So it's and it's worth every minute of it. Okay, let's see. Jessica said probably caught 40 fish on Sunday. Red trout, sheephead. It was probably a negative 0.7. Yep. It was real dry in Pine Island and Boquilla a week ago, Monday. And we caught fish. We caught plenty of fish down there. But up here, it's been, the water's not really, it's not as clean as it should be for this time of the year. And I think the wind is playing a role in that.
Yeah, I think the hurricanes kind of messed that up with probably how much stuff got washed into the bay from land, and it's taking its sweet lily to kind of clear up.
Because normally, we have this time of the year, that water is crystal clear. You can see 8, 10, 12 feet down.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it isn't that way.
No. You got maybe 5 feet.
Even down there when Pine Island, we were around Boca Grande filming. It
Yeah.
wasn't that clean, George. It was,
Yeah.
in some areas 2 or 3 feet, but it should be down there 10 feet easy this time of the
Oh,
year.
yeah.
So
Without a
I
doubt.
don't know if the hurricanes or it's maybe too much wind this year. I don't know, but
Something's going on.
cold fronts don't hurt. A little bit of rain doesn't hurt. We needed some rain. It's the wind. Wind, stay away, or stay
Yeah.
under 10 at least. This 15 to 20 to 25 is driving me nuts, But all right, so let's get Mike Haynes.
Yeah, he's got a nice report.
Good evening, Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River, Florida. Well, it's been a brutal 5 days. I've been on the water for that long. I got another trip tomorrow as well. It is Sunday morning and the sun is finally shining. It's been brutal this week, but I will say we have caught fish, and we've caught quite a number of fish. One of the key factors I've been doing when it gets cold like this, and we've got these north winds, and yesterday was just 20 plus, it was just brutal. Getting tucked back into creeks is the best way to find these fish. Find these little creeks that are running off the river. That's mainly where we've been staying. I haven't been hitting the mangroves. We just haven't had enough water. It's been negative low tides and not a lot of water out there. So sticking near the river and doing pretty good. Finding these little creeks and these little holes, finding where some of these fish are kind of sunbathing when the sun is out. Sun's out today, so I think it's going to be a pretty good day. When the sun isn't shining, we're still hitting those creeks, trying to find those fish just kind of holed up somewhere in some little deeper holes. And the holes don't really have to be that deep. Most of the holes that we're finding is maybe 4 or 5 foot deep compared to the rest of the creek. And that seems to be the key. And again, north side, sun is facing south. That seems to be the ticket. Been catching most of them on shrimp, circle hook with a split shot, just kind of keeping it down there, or shrimp tipped on a jig. It seems to be the ticket. Haven't really done too many ladyfish or chunk out there. Mainly it's been shrimp, and it usually tends to be the bait of choice in the wintertime around here. So that's where we've been finding the redfish. I think we caught out of one little hole the other day, we caught about 16 redfish, and majority of them were keepers. So it was a good day. For the rest of it, for trout, we've been fishing in the river. Well, the main river is basically where we're at, and it seems to be they're kind of moving up the river just a little bit. But what we're doing there, tipping a jig with some shrimp, or using a white salt and pepper, or white with a chartreuse little tail, and seems to be the ticket. And what I have found is a lot of these trout aren't sitting on the bottom. They're not way high in the water column. They're kind of midway, and I'm sure there's a temperature change there that these fish are kind of hanging in. Not only that, when you have a bunch of fresh water in this river, that fresh water tends to stay on top, salt water tends to stay on the bottom. So I think they're in that water column where that mix is just right for them, temperature wise, and salt and fresh water mix, kind of brackish water. But we've been kind of hitting them on suspension. So what I've had my clients do is just kind of throw out there above where the water's coming, the flow. Above that, bringing that jig back to you, but just kind of bouncing it way high and letting it settle down, but don't let it hit the bottom. Bringing it way high, let it settle down. Usually those bites come on when that bait is fluttering down, and that seems to be the real ticket. And we've caught a lot of trout this week. So if you get a chance, get out there on the river and try to do that. That'll seem to be the bite that you need. This is Captain Mike Haynes, Fishbones Charters out of Crystal River. Thanks.
And thank you, Mike.
Nice. That was a nice day you had right there.
Yeah, a super nice day. If you can get into these canals and stuff, but some areas you got to run across a big body of water to get to those canals, and that makes it tough.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you got to run across a little sandbar or something to get to it.
Yeah, I mean, even right here in Tampa Bay, from Gandy, sometimes just to get to Wheaton Island, let me tell you, it gets pretty rough. People don't realize that. Donald says he really likes the glasses. They look nice. Donald, they are. I'm telling you, George just started wearing them, but I've had my pair for over 2 years now, and now I got one with the American flag. I'm being patriotic. But I got the gray on gray. I got what is called a matte gray frame, which are
Right.
very neutral. They're very nice looking with the gray lens. And then I got one with my patriotic with the American flag. I got that one with the blue lens. And I tell you what, I really like that blue lens. You know,
Tell you.
I'm not having any problems looking into the water with it, but I'm sure the copper is much better. But I just kind of like the way they look and the way I could see with them.
Well, I hit that one on the money when I said it was a gray lens with the copper
Yep.
front. So that was exactly what that was. I don't know, what does this mean? Alvaro Correa wrote.
It's watching. Saludos en hello from South America.
Is that what that is?
Medellin, yeah, that's a city, South America, and saludos means hello.
Okay. Roger Bird just said hello. How you doing, Roger?
Yeah, Roger's on. All right, George, we better get you on.
Is it getting close?
Yeah, getting close. We got about 7 minutes left.
Yeah. All right, go for it.
Hey guys, Captain George Hastic here of Fish Hunter Fishing Charters, coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida. Well, we're having back-to-back cold fronts this week coming. We've got 2 cold fronts. It's going to really cool the water off some more right now, and the water temperature in Tampa Bay has been ranging a little bit, 58 to 61. But if you get on some shallow flats with the way the wind's been blowing lately, it's dipping down 55, even maybe 54. But so you got to watch out with that. I hope the snook get to their warm areas and they don't end up dying this year. But we've got some really cold weather coming through. So with that being said, we also have, with these moon phases we've been having and wintertime tides, we've been having super low tides. So what you're going to do is, when the tides are real low, your edges of your shallow areas where it drops down deeper, a lot of times you'll have redfish and or trout hanging out at those type of spots. And then also, of course, like your power plants that are putting out hot water, you're going to look to areas like that, channels, stuff of that nature where it's going to be a little bit warmer. If you live near the rivers, you're going to start seeing fish move from the river mouths up into the rivers more. And so it's basically just a game of finding a little bit warmer areas, sometimes a little bit deeper. And then later in the day, when that sun really comes out and the water, the shallow waters will heat up quicker than the deep waters, you will get like these nice sized trout coming up onto the shallows along with redfish. The other thing, if you do have these low tides, a lot of times the docks and the residential canals are holding fish. The docks, especially if they have like good grass or a lot of oysters, you know, a food source, basically something that'll hold food, those are the docks that are going to hold more. And look for your docks that look really old and are established. Those will hold even more fish. And right now you're looking at trout, redfish, sheep's head. I mean, those are the main 3 I would be targeting right now. On the warmer days in between, there might be some snook activity. You know, but as cold as it's getting right now, I would maybe leave them alone just to not stress them out. But your redfish and trout bite has still been pretty good. You're going to get some silver trout in some of these deeper holes now. You find some of these residential canals that are deep, especially with dark bottoms that'll hold the heat a little bit. You're going to get fish in those too. So rock piles, bridge pylons, dock pylons, stuff of that nature, all that's going to be holding fish. So right now, shrimp would be a really good choice of bait, because with the cold water, you want scent. So either artificial baits like your saltwater assassins, little PMV, sea shads, put some scent on top of them. A lot of them come pre-scented, but you can add scent to it. Or using shrimp with the tail broke off, or if you're getting into bait stealers, put just chunks of shrimp on, and that scent is really going to help you get a better bite. All right, this has been Captain George Hastic. Have a good day.
Perfect
Good job.
time with the show.
And hopefully we're going to get enough footage this weekend that we're going to have a show on Chesawiska, because you know that is a unique place. Not everybody can fish in Chesawiska. You got to know what you're doing. Or you don't have to know what you're doing, but you can buy a new lower unit
Right. I was
before
gonna
you
say,
leave for the day.
I wouldn't bring my boat up there.
Oh, I tell you what, these guys, you haven't done it yet, and get ready. Take your nerve pills, okay? Because they
Oh, I
run
think
these 26-foot flat bottom boats, jet drive, a lot of them,
Right.
and they get into they come off this river at full speed so they can get as shallow as they can, and they run through these creeks where sometimes the reeds are almost, they're hitting the side of the boat, and you look and you see the top of some rocks sticking out of the water, and sometimes the tide gets so low that, I mean, you hear them. They'll be going through an area. Say, I got to slow down here, and you hear the bottom of the boat from all the. And it's, let me put it this way: I ain't no way in the world I'm gonna put my nice boat in there, because it ain't worth it. But these guys, that's why a lot of them make their own boats. They're like the old wooden mullet boats,
Right.
and they're real thick wood on the bottom, so that when they go, all they do is they're scratching the wood. There's no gel coat.
Right.
And look, Donald said there's enough of us to get a decent show.
Hey, get everybody to film with their phones and send it in.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we don't get any pictures sent into us, and except for the captains that send us their videos, and we would love to have that happen.
Well, that's
No
what I'm
question
saying.
about it.
With the trip, with the amount of people we got going, if everybody once in a while takes their phone out and videos for a little bit, we'll get all that footage together. We'll make a show out of it.
We'll have 9 people on this trip, and that's all you can put in this fish camp.
Right.
It's 9. That's it. But it's going to be great. It's going to be a new experience for you, and it's going to be a cold experience for you.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Because, I mean, at least we're not camping outside in the tent. You're inside of a house. But the trouble is at 10:30, those generators kick off, and you're on batteries. And let me put it this way. I've had some years that got down in the 20s that I slept with my insulated undies, my jeans, my insulated under, my sweatshirt, my hoodie, and a jacket and a blanket because that's how cold it was. You're out in the middle of nowhere out there, and it gets down in the 20s. I mean, if it's going to be 34, 35, or if you said it's going to be around 38 in St. Pete, so that means it'll be around 30, 32 around my house in Wesley Chapel. It's going to be in the 20s over there.
Oh yeah.
Come Saturday morning. Oh yeah.
When I was a younger kid, the place we used to live in up north, unfortunately, that place would just shut down. You'd have no heat. So I've had experience with sleeping in my jacket also. And yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's all we can do. All right. And our time is up. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And hopefully we will have some video from next weekend, George and I, to put on the air. But we're going to try to make a show out of it for our channel. And please tell everybody about Fishing Adventures Florida on YouTube. We really, we're almost getting ready to break 33,000 subscribers. We're only about 200 something short. So tell your friends, get them to subscribe. That would be great. That would be a lot of help for us.
Yep.
And George,
Hey, guys.
we will have a good time this weekend, and we're going to bring some good pictures and hopefully a lot of nice pictures of fish for everybody that's watching us,
Definitely.
All right. Goodbye and good luck, and God bless.
Thank you for watching.